Welcome to the most important video you will ever watch. And I mean that. It is not because of fancy words or clever tricks. It is because this video is about you and the invisible battle happening inside your own mind. Let me ask you something honest. Have you ever felt like your own brain is working against you? Like you are trying your hardest to be positive, but your mind keeps pulling you back into fear, pain, or regret. Have you ever had to smile in front of your friends while you were actually screaming inside your head? Or maybe you have laid in bed at night, staring at the ceiling, thinking the same painful thoughts over and over again, whispering to yourself, "Why can I not just stop thinking like this? Why do I feel so low, even when everything seems okay? What is wrong with me?" Let me tell you the truth right now. There is absolutely nothing wrong with you. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not crazy. But the way you were taught to think, that is what is broken. That is the real enemy. And that is exactly what we are going to fix today. This video is going to show you how to silence those negative thoughts and feelings for good. And we are not going to do it by reading simple motivational quotes. We will do it by understanding exactly how your mind works, one step at a time. We are going to break those old, limiting beliefs. We are going to replace the lies in your head with powerful, life-changing truths. And I am going to give you the tools to take back control for the first time in your life. You will not just learn how to stop being negative. You will learn how to reprogram your emotions and build a stronger, new version of yourself, starting today. And if you are learning English, this video is a perfect place for you. Everything is explained in simple, clear, and powerful English using real-life examples and emotional storytelling. You will grow stronger in your heart, and you will grow smarter in your English too. So take a deep breath. Relax your shoulders. What you are about to hear might just be the answer your soul has been waiting for all your life. Lesson 1. Understanding where your thoughts come from. Most people spend their entire lives fighting against their own negative thoughts. They tell themselves, "I just need to stop thinking this way. I should be stronger. I should be happier." But here is the secret. They are fighting the wrong battle. You see, these negative thoughts do not just appear from thin air. They do not come from the world outside. They are born deep inside you, from a place called your subconscious mind. And here is the shocking truth that most people never realize. 95% of your thoughts, your feelings, and your daily actions are actually controlled by this subconscious part of your brain. That means you are only truly awake and conscious for about 5% of your day. Think of your subconscious mind like a giant recording machine that has been running since you were a tiny child. It recorded everything. It recorded the way your parents spoke to you when you were sad. It recorded how your teachers reacted when you made a small mistake. It recorded the fear in your family's eyes when money was tight. It recorded the pain of being ignored or left out by other kids. All of those moments were saved silently, without your permission. And now that you are an adult, those old recordings are playing back in your head as your own thoughts. So, when you hear a voice saying, "I am not good enough," or "I always mess things up," or "Nobody really loves me," that is not really you speaking. That is just your subconscious replaying an old, dusty memory. Let me tell you about Liam. He is 26, he is smart, he is funny, and he has a good heart. But every time he starts something new, like a fresh job or a new relationship, he quits. He walks away. Why? Because the moment something goes wrong, a voice in his head tells him, "You are a failure. Why even try? You are just going to embarrass yourself again." Liam believes that voice because he does not remember the real source. When he was 9 years old, Liam had to stand in front of his class to give a presentation. He was nervous, his voice was shaking, and when he misread one word, the whole room laughed. Even his teacher gave a little smirk. Liam went home crying that day. He never told anyone, but that moment became a permanent scar in his subconscious mind. That scar turned into a voice, and that voice turned into a belief that has controlled his life for years. Those negative thoughts are just old pain disguised as the truth. So, what can you do? You stop fighting them like enemies, and you start observing them like a detective. Next time you think, "I am not good enough," stop. Take a breath. Ask yourself, where did this thought actually come from? Who taught me to believe this? What memory is this connected to? Once you discover the source, the thought begins to lose its power over you. Your first mission tonight is simple. Take 10 minutes, sit in a quiet place, and write this question at the top of a page. What are the 3 negative thoughts I think about the most? For each one, ask yourself, where did this come from? You will be shocked at what you find. You will realize that most of your negative thinking was never yours to begin with. It was just someone else's fear living inside you rent-free. But not anymore, because the moment you see the lie, you stop living inside it. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who has the power to rewrite them. Lesson 2. The invisible loops that trap you. You have probably heard people say, "I am trying to be positive. I am writing in my journal. I am saying my daily affirmations." But deep down, they still feel low. They feel like they are stuck in the exact same spot, no matter how hard they try. They keep experiencing the same heavy emotions, the same pain, and the same anxiety. They ask themselves, why do I feel like I am just running in circles? The answer is simple, because you are. Welcome to the loop. This is the invisible mental trap that has been running your life behind the scenes. What exactly is a mental loop? It is a pattern of thinking that constantly feeds itself. Think of it like a song that gets stuck in your head. No matter what you do, it keeps coming back. If you try to ignore it, it gets louder. If you try to fight it, it fights back even harder. The loop usually starts with a trigger. Something small happens. You get ignored by a friend. You make a tiny mistake at work. You see someone else doing better than you on social media. That event triggers a familiar, painful emotion like insecurity, fear, or guilt. Your mind then pulls up an old, dusty belief. I am not good enough. They do not really care about me. I always mess things up. You feel the shame or the anger all over again, and your reaction is to do something negative. You isolate yourself. You overthink. You scroll endlessly on your phone, or you cry in silence. Afterward, you feel even worse, and you blame yourself for reacting that way. And just like that, the loop starts all over again. Let me tell you about Sarah, a 24-year-old student. She is bright and has a beautiful soul, but she was trapped in a dark loop. Her day would start by looking in the mirror and thinking, "My face looks tired. Why am I so ugly?" She would go to campus, see others laughing and think, "Maybe I am not likable." If she made one small mistake in class, she would spend the rest of the day thinking, "Now everyone thinks I am stupid." She would go home, open her phone, compare her life to others, and cry herself to sleep. None of those things were real threats, but Sarah's loop was so tight that she thought it was her reality. She started to believe, this is just who I am. I am just a negative person. But here is the truth. You do not break a loop by fighting the thought. You break the loop by breaking the pattern. You need to interrupt the cycle at its weakest point, which is your reaction. You cannot always control the trigger, and you cannot always stop the thought from appearing. but you can always choose how you react. When the thought comes, do not feed it with your energy. Do not argue with it. Instead, just say to yourself, that is an interesting thought, and then keep walking. The next time you feel the trigger, do something different. Instead of hiding, reach out to one person. Instead of scrolling on your phone, step outside for fresh air. Instead of telling yourself you are a failure, say, I am learning. Even a tiny interruption is enough to break the machine. You are not weak, and you are not doomed. You are just trapped in a pattern you did not realize existed. But now that you can see the loop, you finally have the power to step out of it. Lesson 3. Stop feeding the enemy. Inside, most people try to stop their negative thoughts while simultaneously feeding the very things that create them. It is like drinking poison every single morning and then wondering why you feel sick all day long. Let me be clear. You cannot heal your mind if you keep filling it with mental junk. You cannot stop negativity if your entire lifestyle is designed to produce it. This is the stage where we clean the soil, because no seed of happiness can ever grow in polluted ground. Imagine your mind is a beautiful open garden. Whatever you plant there will grow. Whatever you water will become stronger. Whatever you allow into your garden becomes a part of your reality. So ask yourself, what are you planting every morning? What kind of mental garbage are you leaving in your garden? If you feed your mind with fear-based news, toxic social media, fake perfection, drama, and sad love songs, then what exactly do you expect your mind to produce? Joy? Peace? Motivation? That is impossible. You are asking your mind to grow flowers in toxic soil. Think of your phone as a giant black mirror on the wall. Every morning, you stand in front of this mirror. But here is the catch. This mirror does not show your real face. Instead, it magnifies your biggest insecurities. It whispers your deepest fears. It shows you images that tell you that you are not successful, not pretty enough, or that you are falling behind in life. And the worst part? You chose to look into it. You keep that mirror in your pocket, right next to your pillow. And then you wonder why your mind feels broken. It is because you are feeding the enemy inside with your time, your energy, and your attention. There are 3 main ways people feed this negativity without even realizing it. First, information overload, or what I call digital poison. You scroll for hours and remember nothing, but your brain records everything. That person's life looks perfect. Yours does not. He is successful. You are behind. You do not feel the damage instantly, but after days of this, you feel tired, insecure, and empty. Second, toxic repetition. Music, reels, and drama are powerful. But what are you repeating to yourself? Lyrics about heartbreak and loneliness might sound like just a song, but your brain does not understand the word just. It only understands what you feed it repeatedly. Repetition is programming, and most people are accidentally programming themselves to be miserable on autopilot. Third, your mental diet. Your daily conversations shape your emotions. If you spend every day talking about what you hate, who betrayed you, or how unfair life is, then that negativity becomes your default language. Imagine a glass of pure, clean water sitting on a table. It is peaceful and balanced. One day, someone drops one tiny drop of black ink into it. The water changes a little, but it still looks okay. The next day, another drop, then another. Slowly, the water becomes dark. It did not become dark overnight. It was fed poison, one drop at a time. Your mind is that glass of water, and the content you consume is the ink. How do you stop feeding the enemy? Start by cleaning your feed like you would clean your fridge. You would not eat rotten food, so why watch rotten content? Unfollow pages that make you feel less than. Mute people who only post fake perfection. Delete apps if you have to. Your peace is worth more than staying updated. Replace. Do not just resist. If you stop watching bad content, fill that space with something that builds you up. Listen to growth stories, calming audio, or people who speak truth. Protect your morning and your night. The first 30 minutes after waking and the last 30 minutes before sleep are when your mind is most programmable. Do not scroll. Do not start your day with comparison. Instead, breathe. Write down what you are thankful for and speak one powerful sentence to yourself. Your mind is not broken. It has just been badly fed. Stop feeding the enemy and start feeding your inner peace. Lesson 4. Clean your mental room daily. Let me ask you something simple. You brush your teeth every morning, right? You take a shower, you change your clothes, and you probably clean your living space or wash the dishes. You do these things because if you do not, your body feels uncomfortable and your home gets messy. But here is the big question. When was the last time your mind? I am not talking about your social media feed or your to-do list. I am talking about the inside of your head, the mental space where you actually live 24 hours a day. If you do not clean that space daily, you will end up living in a home that feels heavy, anxious, and confusing. Even if your outside life looks perfectly fine, inside you will feel suffocated. The truth is, negative thoughts do not just come from deep trauma. They also come from daily accumulation. Just like dust settles on your furniture even when the windows are closed, mental dust collects in your mind from everyday life. A stressful conversation at work, a difficult decision you are avoiding, a deadline that makes you nervous, or even a small comment that felt wrong but you ignored. All of these things leave a mark. If you do not clear them out, they pile up. When your mental room is full of unprocessed emotions, you start to feel irritated by little things. You get emotionally sensitive. You feel exhausted for no reason because your brain is overloaded. Eventually, you stop being yourself. You stop laughing. You stop dreaming. And you stop speaking with confidence. Not because you are weak, but because your mental room is simply too full. Imagine a small, cramped room filled with 100 open cardboard boxes. Each box holds a piece of your stress, a painful memory, a financial worry, a fear of rejection, or a regret from 3 years ago. Imagine trying to sit down and relax in that room. You cannot do it. There is no space to breathe. That is exactly what your mind becomes when you never pause to clean it. To fix this, you need 6 simple daily practices. They require no apps, no therapy, and no external help, just you and your awareness. First, use the thought shelf method. When you are overwhelmed, imagine your mind is a shelf. When a repetitive thought keeps bothering you, gently place it on that shelf and tell yourself, this does not need to be solved right now. It will wait. This stops the thought from looping like a broken record. Second, do a daily temperature check. Once a day, pause and ask, what am I feeling right now? Where do I feel it in my body? Giving your emotion a name helps you clean the mental clutter. Third, try the one-word dump. Before you sleep, write down just one word that describes your day, like heavy, rushed, or hopeful. Naming your state helps you release it. Fourth, take 3 minutes for a mental walkthrough. Close your eyes and mentally review your day. Notice where your mood shifted. When you notice, you release. Fifth, Speak to yourself like you would speak to a small child. Before bed, say one kind thing to yourself, like, "You did your best today, and that is enough." Finally, do a micro-forgiveness exercise. Each day, choose one small thing to forgive, someone who annoyed you or a mistake you made. Say, "I release this," and walk lighter. Pick any 3 of these practices and make them a ritual tonight. Treat it like brushing your teeth. When your mental room is clean, you sleep deeper, you focus better, and you feel freer. You are not too sensitive or broken. You are just overcrowded. So, make it a habit to clear the dust before it piles up, because you deserve to live in a mind that feels like a home, not a prison. Lesson 5. Replace, do not fight. Let me start with a simple truth. You will never win a war by screaming at your enemy, and you will never find peace by screaming at your own thoughts. Yet that is exactly what most people do. They think, "I just want to stop being negative. How do I shut off this voice in my head?" They try to block the thoughts. They try to force them away, and they get angry at themselves for feeling the way they do. But the more you fight, the stronger that thought becomes. Why? Because you cannot fight a thought with force. You can only win by replacing it. Think about it this way. The moment you tell yourself, "I do not want to think about this," your brain immediately focuses on that exact thing. It is like me telling you, "Do not think about a pink elephant." What is the first thing in your mind right now? A pink elephant. If you say, "I do not want to feel anxious," your brain starts scanning for every single reason you might be anxious. When you argue with a negative thought, you are giving it your energy. You are telling your brain, "This thought is important, and because it is important, it grows." The solution is not to fight the thought. It is to replace it, redirect it, and rewire it. Imagine there is a radio in your room playing a terrible, depressing song. The lyrics are saying things like, "You are a failure," or "You will never be good enough." The volume is turned up high, and it is hurting your head. What do? Do you scream at the radio? Do you cry in front of it? No, that would be a waste of time. You simply change the station. You turn the dial to a different frequency. That is how replacement works. You do not beg your brain to stop. You just give it a new direction. Your brain is like a chalkboard. If you have written something painful on it, you cannot just stare at it and wish it away. The only way to clear it is to write over it with something better. When a negative thought pops up, like, "I always mess everything up," you overwrite it with, "I am learning fast because I have faced challenges before." When you think, "I am too sensitive," you rewrite it to, "I feel things deeply, and that is a real strength." You are not lying to yourself. You are simply shifting the spotlight. There are 3 ways to do this. First, the reversal technique. When a scary thought comes, flip it. Ask yourself, what is the opposite truth that could also be real? If you think, "I am going to fail this," flip it to, "I might actually surprise myself and do better than I expect." Second, the "so what" method. When you feel dramatic about a mistake, ask, "So what if I did that? Would I still be alive? Would I still be me?" It takes the power away from the fear. Third, the update method. Imagine you are updating your brain software. If the old version says, "I cannot do this," your new update says, "I am figuring it out as I go." Write down the 3 most common negative thoughts you have had this week. Then, write one powerful replacement for each. Put them on a sticky note where you can see them every morning. Your brain believes what it hears most often, so train it. Do not fight it. You were not born to live with a storm inside your head. You can change the weather, by changing the forecast. Replace fear with possibility. Replace shame with growth. And replace doubt with progress. Your mind has been playing the same old tape for too long. Now it is time to change the music. Lesson 6. Talk to yourself like someone you love. Let me start with a painful question. If a friend or a stranger talked to you the same way you talk to yourself, would you still be friends with them? Think about it. When you fail, when you make a mistake, or when you are simply feeling exhausted, what is your first reaction? You probably do not say, "It is okay, you are human, you will try again." No, you likely say, "You are so stupid. Why do you always mess things up? You are a burden. I hate that I'm like this." The tragedy is that if anyone else spoke to you like that, even once, you would walk away immediately. But you say these things to yourself every single day, and you cannot walk away from your own mind. You are living in a house where you are being verbally abused by your own voice. Most people have an inner critic, but for many, it has become an inner bully. This voice does not guide you, it attacks you. It tells you that you are behind, that you are not good enough, and that you are undeserving. Now imagine a 7-year-old child comes to you and says, "I made a mistake today. I feel bad about myself." Would you scream at them? Would you call them names? Of course not. You would hug them, look into their eyes, and tell them that it is okay, that they are still worthy, and that tomorrow is a new chance. Why don't you treat yourself with that same kindness? Somewhere along the way, you learned to be cruel to yourself instead of compassionate. That has to change today. Your mind is a garden, and your self-talk is the gardener. Every word you speak to yourself is either planting a new flower or cutting the roots of what is already growing. If the gardener keeps shouting, "This plant is useless, it will never grow," then even the most beautiful flower will wither. But if the gardener says, "It is okay that today was tough, I believe in you," then even a weak plant finds the courage to rise again. Your self-talk is the water and the sunlight of your inner world. Negative self-talk creates real damage. It kills your motivation, increases your anxiety, and makes you believe that you are the problem. When you believe you are broken, you stop trying to heal. To start talking to yourself with love, try these 5 practices. First, give your inner voice a name. When you say, "I am a failure," it sounds like the absolute truth. But if you call that voice Negative Nancy, you create distance. You realize that is just a voice, not who you actually are. Second, use the best friend technique. Whenever you feel down, ask, "What would I say to my best friend in this situation?" Then, say those exact words to yourself out loud. Third, the mirror moment. Spend 2 minutes each morning looking into your own eyes in the mirror. Do not judge your appearance. Just say 3 things. I am trying, I am still here, and I forgive you. Fourth, rewrite your cruel sentences. Take those common mean thoughts and turn them into kind ones. Instead of saying, "I am a burden," say, "My feelings matter." Fifth, practice daily forgiveness. Every night before you sleep, tell yourself, "Whatever I did wrong today, I forgive myself. I will not carry this shame into tomorrow." Put your hand on your heart and say this softly. "I am sorry I have been so cruel to you. You did not deserve that voice. From today, I will talk to you like someone I love." Let the tears fall if they come. You are not weak for doing this. You are reconnecting with yourself. You do not need to be perfect to deserve kindness. You just need to be you. The world is already full of people ready to judge you, so do not join them. Be the one voice in your life that says you are still worthy, especially when you feel like you are not. Lesson 7. Cut off the hidden triggers. Triggers are not always loud. They do not always knock on your door and announce that they are here to ruin your day. Sometimes they are incredibly soft. They feel like comfort or a familiar habit, but they are actually pulling you right back into the old version of yourself, the version that was scared, the version that doubted, and the version that lived in constant fear. Imagine you live in a room with a soft, steady ticking clock. Tick, tick, tick. After a while, you get used to the sound. You do not even notice it anymore. But that noise is always there, vibrating in the background of your life. One day, you finally decide to remove that clock. You sit in silence, and for the first time, you realize, oh my God, I have been living with that background noise for years. This is exactly what emotional triggers are like. You might not notice them, but they are ticking away in the background of your life. It could be a specific person's presence, a toxic group chat, a certain smell, a ringtone, a hairstyle, or even the way you have arranged your bedroom. You wonder why you feel so anxious, but you are still sleeping next to a physical memory of the worst version of you. You are still keeping the door open for the same old trauma to walk back in. Many people make the mistake of thinking, I should not have to cut people or things off. That feels harsh. I should be stronger than this. But listen to me closely. Healing is not about proving how tough you are. Healing is about protecting your energy so you do not keep bleeding internally. If a wound is still fresh, you do not go running through a dusty field. You bandage it. You give it time to heal. You avoid anything that might infect it. This is not about being weak. It is about having self-respect. Think about that nice but draining friend you have. They do not insult you, but every time you finish a conversation with them, you leave feeling smaller. They subtly compete with you. They dismiss your emotions, or they always bring up your past. It is time to let them go. Think about the unspoken expectations you put on yourself. That voice in your head that says, I should be more successful by now. I should be married. I should be further along. That is not motivation. That is a mental whip. Cut it off. Not your dreams, just the toxic timeline you have created for yourself. Start by making a list called Things That Silently Pull Me Back into Darkness. Write down 3 columns. What is the trigger? Why does it affect me? And what will I do to protect myself from it? Do not feel guilty about this. This is not about rejection. It is about choosing your peace over your pride. You cannot become the next version of yourself if you keep entertaining the people, patterns, and places that made you question your own worth in the first place. You are not weak for needing space. You are wise for choosing boundaries. You do not owe your past another visit. You owe your future a better foundation. If a plant is not growing, you do not blame the seed. You change the environment. Protect what is blooming, and you will find that the darkness loses its grip on you. Lesson 8. Turn your pain into power. Let's wrap this up with the most important stage of all. If you are still watching, it means you have been through the fire. You have cried in the dark. You have doubted your worth, and you have fought battles that no one else ever saw. You have tried to be strong for everyone around you, even when you were falling apart inside. But now, it is time to take everything you have survived and use it. People often tell you to just let it go, move on, or forget the past. But true healing is not about forgetting. It is about finding meaning in the things that broke you. It is about standing tall and saying, that hurt me, but I am still here, and I am going to build something beautiful from this. There is a beautiful Japanese art form called kintsugi. When a ceramic bowl breaks, the artists do not throw it away, and they do not try to hide the cracks. Instead, they repair the broken pieces using gold. They fill the cracks with golden lacquer, and the result is a bowl that is more valuable, more unique, and even stronger than it was before it broke. Your pain is that gold. Every tear you have shed, every lonely night, every betrayal, and every time you fell down, that is your gold. If you let it, that pain can become your wisdom, your resilience, and your mission. How do you turn your pain into power? Start with these 4 shifts. First, stop asking why me and start asking what now. You may never get a perfect answer to why life hurt you, but you always have the choice to decide who you want to become because of it. Second, transform your emotion into expression. Energy cannot be destroyed, but it can be redirected. Turn your anxiety into art, your loneliness into leadership, and your anger into setting healthy boundaries. The world does not need more perfect people. It needs people who can show their scars and say, "This is what I did to heal." Third, use your experience to help someone else. If you feel lost, go help someone who is walking the path you already finished. You do not need a degree or a title. You just need to say, "I have been there, and you are not alone." That connection is medicine for both of you. Finally, build your identity around your survival, not your suffering. Stop saying, "I was broken." Start saying, "I am rebuilding." Because if pain is the fire, you are the gold that came out stronger on the other side. You did not come this far just to feel better. You came this far to transform. This was never just about stopping negative thoughts. It was about a reintroduction to your own power. Everything you have been through has been shaping you, not to destroy you, but to prepare you for what is coming next. You are not your pain. You are not your past. You are not your thoughts. You are the power that rises in the middle of all 3 and chooses to become something greater. This is your story now. This is your chapter, your healing, and your time. You have seen the enemy, you have learned the patterns, and you have cleaned the room. You are ready. I am so proud of you for showing up, for listening, and for staying until the very end. You are already on your way, and this is just the beginning. Subscribe to join this community of growth. Turn on the notifications and keep showing up for yourself. You belong here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for fighting. And now, go become the person you were always meant to be.